Hey, so in this series I want to answer Reddit questions from leadership or management subreddits, and the first one is about communicating technical concepts to non-technical people. So let's start with understanding why this skill is important. And the funny thing is, it's not really a soft skill anymore, but I will come to that part later. So first of all, why is it not working? Now it works. First of all, it's more helpful. Okay? You are being more helpful to others. You can explain concepts clearly. People can learn them faster, grow faster, use this knowledge in a better way, right? It's super important because you are being helpful to others. And by being helpful, you're kind of a game changer, right? It's like you are bringing the biggest impact to others. You help them. The second skill is building greater influence. So let me just write it down. Influence. And why it's important, like it's kind of obvious, but if you can communicate something clearly, right, the others don't have to compute your thoughts for you, post-process them and come to the conclusions. They can just use something that you prepared and go with it, right? Use it quickly, and the more influence you have, the bigger impact of your decisions and the things that you communicate to them is. Which brings me to number 3 on my list, which is career progression, right? So career progression. And because your decisions and your thoughts are having bigger impact and influence people more, your career progresses faster. And the faster it progresses, right, the more abstract things you have to communicate in a clear way, and you have to be able to zoom in and out on your thoughts and be abstract or detailed as necessary, which is not easy. But if you can do it properly, right, your value for the company grows, and because of that you can grow within the company as well, alongside your compensation and level. And the fourth skill, right, which when I said that I'm kinda certain that it's no longer it's not the nicest word. It's on. The fourth skill is prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, and this is where it's becoming the hard skill, right? NVIDIA CEO said that we will be, I mean engineers or engineering managers, like HR department for AI assistants. And if that's kind of true, you have to be good at prompt engineering. And even now, it's so huge with computer use from Anthropic or in general, building your AI assistants that can talk with each other. And it's super easy. I will do some live probably videos about this when I will try to implement something. But the being able to do good prompt engineering is crucial, and there are some great courses from Anthropic which are open source on GitHub on how to be good at prompt engineering. So I will link it in the description, but it's a great resource. So now we understand why it's important. Let's think about how to gain the skill. And first thing that comes to mind is, I'll separate it, learn from others. So being able to learn from others. For me, right? Let me give you a story. When I was a kid, I was watching a show called Mythbusters, and there was a Jamie Heineman and Adam Savage. They were presenters, and they were before working in Industrial Light and Magic. And they are, especially Adam Savage, who's now runs a Tested YouTube channel. I highly recommend. This is my favorite YouTube channel. Talks about science communication, and he's one of the best science communicators I've ever encountered. And he's the person I am learning a lot from, right? Like, he's not using complex vocabulary to confuse you. Like, he's not saying, like, it has to be moved 300 microns this way because of something, or like the wood hydroscopic nature prevents you from whatever, right? Instead of saying 300 microns, he says that it's like 3 sheets of paper thick, which is much easier to understand and visualize in your head. And I would highly recommend finding someone you like listening to, you think is good at explaining complex concepts clearly. It can be me if you like this video, but if not, that's completely fine. Just find someone who resonates with you and try to learn as much as you can listening to them. Right? This is so easy now with all the podcasts and YouTube videos. The best science communicators out there are available, in your phone. You can just listen to them, but think how they talk about stuff, how they present it in a clear way. That's super important. The second one is books. And books are great, right? I talked multiple times about books. I did it in my 2024 favorite things video. You can watch it if you want. The top value of books is that it's been written by authors, right? And then edited by editors. So you have two professionals who are great at expressing thoughts through sentences and creating a narrative and structure. And what's the better way than learning directly from them? You can just take a book, start reading it, analyzing it, and understand how great and valuable it is. Cheating. You have the best people in the world expressing their thoughts in a thoughtful way, structured, and you can just take it and see how they create sentences and paragraphs and how they provide value. It's really undervalued, and I think reading books is great. This is my favorite way of getting knowledge, so I do highly recommend. The third point is, if we're reading, right, we can also write. And it works differently for everyone. I like to brain dump all of my thoughts. This is how I think about also YouTube videos. This is when I started writing, to be honest, and I think my English has improved dramatically. The sentences and structure I create are much better. I use sometimes AI to do spelling and punctuation, fix it for me. So it's like an editor in the box, right? Where you can use it to help you be better. And so this is a huge value. So I brain dump all of my thoughts, then I refine, and I create a narrative and create a structure to my thoughts in a way that I think is valuable. And because of that, right, when I do it a lot of times, it allows me to, oh, sorry, I have to move my notes. It allows me to create like a bank of stories or approaches I have to telling and explaining something. And as a manager, especially a manager of multiple people, right? We often have to say the same story multiple times, like the same concept. When we are managing engineers, or in my case, I'm managing managers, right? The struggles are very similar often, and the problems and how you, what experience gives you as a manager is being able to introspect on these problems multiple times throughout the years. And each time when you find an approach, an explanation that works well, you can reuse it like from a bank of stories, right? And put it in action to a new person. And for them, it brings a lot of value. It's personalized to them within the context they understand. And the more you have it, I think the better you are. So the fourth point is understanding your audience. Oh, whoa, 1 second. Understand, sorry, your audience. And this is a concept, like it sounds obvious, right? But I love how it is explained in the book's Principles. It's over there. If you haven't read it, I'll link in the description. But and it's affiliate link, so I will get a small commission if you will use it. The same price is for you. Anyway, it explains clearly in a great way how to approach structured explanation of something, and it shows it on the x-axis we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And on the y-axis we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's say that 1 is the most abstract thing, and the 6 is the more in-depth conversation, and A, B, C, D, E is like a story we want to tell. In this case, I started with explanation of benefits and then how we can get it, and each of the points is a different letter. Okay, so imagine that what's important is that you understand at which level your audience operate, and if you want to go deeper, you can. But if you will go deep for a bullet point, for a letter B, explaining, for example, writing, you can go deep because you create a narrative to it, but you have to get out before you will move from B to C, right? From reading to writing. If you want, and you will continue on this deep level, the conversation, you will get stuck because people will lose interest. They won't understand how they got such deep before you introduce them to the topic and moved through levels clearly. So now when I'm having a conversation with someone, I always thinking at which level we are talking about. Are we here or here or here? And how we can navigate to the conclusion. And this is the other important part, that you have to finish the story. You have to go through all the points to make it cohesive narrative. Okay? The fifth point is just do it. And this is important. Like, you won't be perfect. Neither am I. No one is. Right? We can always improve. At YouTube community, there's a saying, just press record and start, right? And I would say the same thing here, just start talking about stuff. If you're comfortable with it, you can start talking at the dinner table with your friends. If you are not comfortable with it, you can start talking on YouTube videos, as I do, or whatever else works for you. But you have to start talking, writing, reading in order to improve. Just accumulating knowledge on approaches doesn't really work. You have to put it in action and get comfortable with being uncomfortable and analyze why this really didn't work or was not as good as you thought it is, and try to improve every time, just, you know, by 0.5% here or there, or change the structure, change something and improve. And the sixth point, I briefly mentioned why it's important, but I like to talk a little bit more about prompt engineering. And what have I done? Prompt engineering. So this is crucial, okay? Nowadays, I think this is a skill of the future. If you are able to understand how to communicate something in a clear way, it will be, or is now, a core of prompt engineering. Amanda Askell from Anthropic, she said that prompt engineering is like being able to understand your thoughts and take an average person from the street and communicate it to them the way they will understand. So I believe that this is a great conclusion for this video, because if it's not exactly what clear communication is, then, you know, I don't know what else to tell you. And I hope you find it useful, and I will see you next time.